Good evening and welcome to Sports Nightly. I'm Henry Goodwin here with the Sports Ticker. In Husker baseball news, Kristo signed with the Atlanta Braves as an undrafted free agent and is reported to their spring training complex. Kristo is the third Husker pitcher to continue with an MLB team after Mason McConaughey and Luke Broderick were selected in the draft earlier this summer. Nebraska Bowling is set to join Conference USA as an affiliate member for the upcoming season. The Huskers are set to join the toughest conference in college bowling after being independent since the program was elevated to varsity status in the 1997-98 season. Nebraska soccer is set to travel to Brookings, South Dakota to take on the South Dakota State Jackrabbits in an exhibition game tomorrow. Following that, the Huskers will host Colorado State here in Lincoln at Hibner Stadium on Friday at 7. Admission for that game is free. This has been our Sports Ticker. Now get ready for 2 hours of Sports Nightly right here on the Huskers Radio Network.
Coming to you live from Memorial Stadium, it's Sports Nightly. All the Huskers, all the time. Sports Nightly is presented to you by the NDOT Highway Safety Office, who remind you to buckle up and put the phone down.
Pianto set first offering. That ball's driven up the middle. Coming around third is Dylan Carey. The throw is offline. The Huskers win it. The Huskers win it. Nebraska will march on.
Wing to the near side. Snap back. Has some time. Steps, throws down the field. The pass is intercepted. Picked off by Sierra Wright to the 30, 25, 20. Sierra down the near sideline. 20, 10, 5. Touchdown, Nebraska. Sierra Wright with a pick six for Nebraska. And the Huskers have taken the lead on the road.
Rimdahl, a couple of ball fakes, bounces into Prince at half court. And Prince is going to make a run on a falter. Steps back for three to tie the game. You betcha! Biggest shot of that freshman's young career. Timeout. We're tied at 75. Britt Prince is 19. She steps back and sticks a three-pointer, her fifth of the night.
Now, here is your host, Jessica Coody, on the Huskers Radio Network.
Hey everybody, happy Monday to you. Jessica Coody with Kyle Crooks joining me here off the top of the show. Fan Day is in the books. You survived. What'd you think out there?
Yeah, there were so many fans lined up to get Jessica's autograph.
No.
It was...
You were taking photos.
I took one photo, and so that was good. I got to see the fans, see a lot of the people that listen, of course, to all the broadcasts and listen to Greg for all those years and talking about, you know, having the headphones in and listening to Greg and Damon and yourself. And so all that was really cool. And so essentially, Kyle, don't screw this up, essentially is what I got out of it. But no, it was really cool. And then the weather was perfect. It kind of felt like a fall September night.
A couple of the people that have been around, worked a long time, had said that they thought that was the coolest fan day they've ever worked. And it used to, my first year it was in the stadium, so it was blistering out there on the turf. So it was a great night, and then great night out at the open practice. How was that?
Yeah, it was good. You know, I've been to a bunch of practices now, so it was a similar format, but to have the fans out there, have the Go Big Red chant out there was pretty cool. There was an MC that was on the field as well.
DJ Wayne.
Yes, that's right. I have not met him yet, but he has such a fantastic voice. His Go Big Red is outstanding.
He's one of the better MCs in the country, I think.
Yeah.
Like he does at the College World Series too. He does a lot. He does everything. You'll see him at basketball games and gymnastics. I mean, he's everywhere, and he does such a great job.
But there are, a lot of young kids on the mic starting to Go Big Red chant, and the fans got to see it for the first time, not just beer for a football event inside Memorial Stadium and getting a runza. Cassidy, one of our coworkers who helps out with the website here, was supposed to get me a runza.
They
down
sold
to the
out,
field.
right?
They sold out. So unfortunately, I didn't get the true stadium runza experience. I was told that stadium runzas just hit different. Mm-hmm. So, and it seems like you agree.
Well, I don't eat meat, and the folks know that.
That's fair.
So
That's
I
true.
Can't add to that, but I've heard that sentiment as well, that the Runza Stadium.
Maybe the chat can confirm.
Confirm, or people in the text line weigh in, 402-413-2400. Let us know, are the stadium Runzas different? Do they hit differently than the regular Runzas? But yeah, you'll have to experience that. You'll also have to experience Val's on a game day, Valentino's.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, it's getting closer. The top 25 came out today, and Nebraska receiving votes. What were your, I guess, big takeaways from seeing that list, the top 25 list?
Yeah, I mean, it's sort of what I expected for Nebraska. I think locally there's a lot of hype, and I think the national media is slow to wake up to what Nebraska can be this year. You know, you look at the Big Ten, nothing surprises me when you see Ohio State and Penn State 2 and 3. Texas number 1. It's really the top 5 are the teams that you'd expect would be up there. I know a lot of people have Illinois as one of those teams that's going to make that huge jump, almost be that Indiana of last year, be that extra college football playoff team. They're all the way up to 11 in that top 25. Indiana at 20, I think there's some question marks there as to what they lost, but there's still more than enough there for them to have that preseason hype to be a top 25 team. It's sort of what you'd expect of all of the big – I didn't mention Oregon, who is 7. So, Jess, you look at it, you have 3 of the top 7 teams in the country are going to be in the Big Ten. I would suspect that if things go the way that we hope they go and Nebraska's 3-0, Michigan beats Oklahoma before they come here to Nebraska, and Michigan is ranked heading into that game, that's going to be Michigan right now 14 in the preseason AP poll. So, me selfishly, I hope that's an unbeaten on unbeaten, ranked on ranked, and Nebraska can kind of break that curse of beating a ranked team.
Being that you just came from SEC country, did those teams stack up as expected?
Yeah, I think Georgia every year they win that game of walking off the bus. They just look the part every single year. I think they have question marks when it comes to the quarterback position, but Georgia, like an Ohio State, like even a Notre Dame, Clemson, they can win without extraordinary quarterback play. I think Alabama, LSU, it's not the same aura with no more Nick Saban. I think people are still trying to figure out what a Kalen DeBoer Alabama team looks like. LSU, again, they just have a lot of athletes. I think Miami's fairly high at 10, and Ole Miss has a lot of hype. Again, they lost their quarterback. Florida, a place I'm coming from, has a lot of talent coming back. So it's littered with SEC, as you would expect, but when the time comes to win a national championship, it's been Big Ten these last couple of years.
Got a great text just came in. The Runzes taste the same, but they make excellent hand warmers during the cold games.
Wow, we're doing hand warmers with the Runza now? Okay.
So there you go. They're the
idea.
same, but great hand warmers. So there you go. If you got other takes on the Runzes in the stadium. But no, great stuff there. And, it's always...
None of this
It's
matters.
fun to talk about, for us to talk about,
Yeah.
the top 25, but there's probably going to be several changes over the first couple of weeks, so we'll see how everybody stacks up. But it's fun for us while we're still waiting to kick things off. It's good talk show content. Okay, so we mentioned the fan day and the open practice. Between the two events, Coach Rule was able to meet with the media, have a press conference, and an update on week 1. And so that was the first thing he was asked about, what he's been most pleased with throughout the first week of fall camp. We're going to hear from Coach Rule now.
I think this week's been excellent. I think they've all worked hard. I mean, we're not anywhere near to where we need to be. I think when you start looking at like the constructability of a team, it takes pieces, it takes parts, it takes time. But, I mean, I've been really, really pleased this week with the effort and attitude every single day, and they're trying to get better. They like football. They like to practice, so it's a clear step in the right direction.
I think that's been echoed throughout. It's a group that you don't necessarily have to tell them what to do in year 3. They're just doing it. There was a moment early in the practice today where it was sort of a sluggish start, I would say, to today's practice, and Coach Rule had reminded him that in year 3, some of these same mistakes, they just don't fly. But you go to a practice, it's a well-oiled operation. It's a group of guys that are super competitive. When you see the 7-on-7s and the 11-on-11 periods, the way that the secondary barks with Jakori Barney or vice versa, like it's friendly competition. And this is when you need to build up that stamina for an entire season, build up that strength, but also build up the mental capabilities it takes to play at a high level in the Big Ten.
You know, to your point too about Coach Will, this is year 3, and that's been, that was one of the biggest things I took away from Corey Campbell when I asked him what starts to change in year 3 with Coach Rule. And he said, you know, the first year you're learning it, the second year you're embracing it, the third year you're defending it. And even for maybe some of the younger players that are coming in, those older players have that standard, and you've got to be at that standard. And if you're not, Coach Rule's going to let you know about it, and the staff's going to let you know about it. And he expects those older players to take some responsibility and ownership in that. And I think that was one of the things that was communicated today with some of those older guys. Like, you got to do things to lead the way.
And what was it the first week of camp? And I'm sure, I wasn't around here for spring, but the assumption is the same sentiment of this being a player-led team.
Mm-hmm.
When it's year 3 and you watch Coach Rule in a practice, and I've said this before on Sports Nightly, he sort of stands in the middle with that CEO where he can watch over things. And if he needs to interject, he will. But he lets the players compete. He lets his coaches coach. And it just seems like the program, again, from the outside looking in, having not been here the first 2 years, it just outside of the talent, it just seems like the day-to-day operation is in a much better spot.
All right, up next, Coach Rule was asked about Elijah Pritchett, the transfer from Alabama, settling in at left tackle, how he is progressing.
Elijah's done a really nice job. He's got a tremendous battle on his hands. You know, we have battles at all the positions. And, football is football. You know, football athletes, we talk about training, it's really divided up into 3 parts. It's the physical, it's the psychological, it's the technical and tactical. And so part of it for him is, he's still working on all the newness of it. You know, this is not some college spread offense. You know, we do all the things that we do. I did when I was at the Giants. You know, Donnie did when he was at the Bears. Just high-level things for, which is why we believe we're preparing guys to the next level. And so it's just about him continuing to get comfortable with all those things. And I really like where he's at. I like where the whole line's at. And, it's just we have a lot of competition. We're able to rotate guys through, rotate guys and sort of see who grows the most. And really, the first week is I don't pay attention to things in the first week as much as I watch growth. It's really the second week, which is like the grind week. And then the third week, which is I think what separates people, who can have the competitive stamina. So we'll see where everybody's at, weeks 2 and 3.
And that's going to be the biggest litmus test, not this week, but next week. What is that offensive line rotation going to look like? Who sees the bulk of the reps? Now, you're seeing 3s and 4s getting time in practice. I would assume that starts to trim up a little bit once you head and get closer and truly that Cincinnati game is on the horizon, that we'll start to see the different rotations. There's a lot expected out of Elijah Pritchett. Jalen Gramstad, he's an older guy, and if you don't protect Dylan, you don't necessarily know what you have behind Dylan, right? So Jalen comes from NAIA, and you don't want the break glass in case of emergency situation. The most important position on the field in some cases is that left tackle spot, and that's why you go out and get a guy who, he made 11 starts last year at Alabama on an SEC team, but it was on the right side. There's a different type of pressure now when you're protecting the blind side of, in this case, the franchise, and that's 15 and Dylan Riola.
You met Jeremiah Searles today.
Yes.
Searles, offensive lineman, played in the NFL, is one of the best football minds that I've been able to interact with. We do a podcast, and he went out to practice today, and he was fired up about this offensive line. And he is not one to throw around praise. He is on the pessimistic side. And I even told him that. He's like, you're right, I am. But he was very, very excited about not just the starting, the 5 guys, but also the depth. And that has been an issue that we've talked so much about over the last couple of years, that maybe you've got 5 really solid ones that you feel good about, but what happens when you need to call on the number 2s? And I think that's where he was really fired up about the guys that were running out there at the first group, but then also the guys that he saw with the 2s too.
And I think it's the versatility of some of these players. Gunnar Katula, he played a lot of time at left tackle last year, but I wouldn't doubt the fact that he could even slide in at that right tackle spot can, God forbid any injuries to some of these guys that have dealt with injuries, but Prohaska, I mean, he's a massive human being. If any of these right now projected starters get nicked up, he's somebody with a lot of experience. We saw Sam Sledge today impressed us. Grant Bricks impressed us. And Turner Corcoran slowly getting back from that offseason surgery he had on the hamstring. Just, he's starting to get a part of things now, and you hope maybe he can get into that game shape and be a part of that rotation. 8 to 10 guys, I think, is what you're looking at in this offensive line room, probably more towards 10. That could be an impact here over the first, this entire season. You're going to need everybody.
All right, last clip we're going to play from you from Coach Rhule's press conference on Saturday is he was just asked about the defensive transfers and how they have fit in so far.
I don't even think. I don't even think anymore about who's the transfer. They're all on our team, So I guess that would be Desan, Marshall, Watson, Mar. I mean, those guys. I mean, those guys. The thing with those guys is they walked in from day one and they were like we were really diligent this year about. I don't want to bring anyone in here who complains about having to eat in the training table. I didn't want to bring anyone in here. I already fixed that problem. I don't want to bring anybody who complains about practice. Now it's the other way. I end practice on Thursday was a shorter practice, I think. Thursday and Dylan's yelling at me get another rack. I'm like, first of all, he's a quarterback. You're not hitting anybody, but they're all let's get another rack. And Dylan's walked off. He goes, he always makes fun of me. He's like, yeah, we like practice. So I want guys who like practice. So they've brought that. Dasan's brought that, right? Not that they brought it to a team that didn't have it. They've just assimilated into a bunch of guys who love practice. And so, there's not a deal where you're well, that guy's a transfer. That guy's been one of us for a long time. It's very much we're kind of all in it together. So it's a really healthy thing. They have about talent, though. I'll say this about Marshall. I don't get asked a lot of questions about this guy's as professional as could be. He practices and behaves like a pro. He doesn't say a lot. He's a really good football player. He's going to play really well for us. I respect the heck out of him as just the competitor professional that he is.
And Andrew Marshall, he goes to the deeper conversation of what I think is a really deep cornerback room. Andrew and Sierra, and then you have Bly Hill, Amari Sanders. I think you might even see some Kamir Prescott, Jeremiah Charles. There's so many guys in those rooms, but specifically in the transfer conversation, and nowadays with NIL, and if you're Pat Stewart, who's the GM for Matt Rhule, there's an inherent pressure to get it right because there's dollar signs behind these players now where that wasn't necessarily the case. So when you go out and you pay for an Andrew Marshall to come here to Nebraska, you need these guys to hit because there's some money behind it. So there is that pressure for this staff to get it right. And the early indications are for someone like Andrew Marshall that the evaluations are correct. And he's going to be a really versatile piece when we talk about him specifically because he's not just a somebody who can be a lockdown corner on the opposite side of Sierra Wright, but everyone talks about special teams. We need that to be better. Nebraska needs special teams to be better. He's an electric returner. He's somebody who has a kick return and a punt return touchdown in his career. Now, whether Jacory's the punt returner or they flip-flop or maybe Andrew's a part of the kick return game, he's somebody who can play multiple roles on this team in multiple phases. I'm very, very interested to Jess Marquez Watson-Trent, how he plays up. You look at him on the field, he's only 5'11", a little bit smaller than some of the other guys. But I can tell you this, that for somebody like that, it just doesn't matter because he's just a magnet to the ball. He's going to make plays and not necessarily a transfer while we're talking about the linebackers. I know Jacob Bauer just continues to impress in how he earned a scholarship, and he's somebody who didn't even have an invite to fall camp last year and all of a sudden earns a scholarship and he's just around the ball. I mean, you see the amount of reps that he's getting right now. He's just one of those great stories of the history of walk-ons at Nebraska and the underdog story of some of the players that have played here at Nebraska and have gone on to do great things. Jacob Bauer just sort of epitomizes what it means to be a Husker.
He was a huge storyline back in the spring, and Coach Rhule talked about just how competitive he is, how fiery he is, and You could see it in practice. Like, he is a guy that goes hard.
He's a gamer.
He's like 110% all the time, every rep. The other thing I wanted to talk to you about is they posted a video of Coach Rule that day after practice going into the day about it's just kind of his thoughts. And he just basically was walking the field chatting about what was on his mind. And I thought one of the interesting things that he talked about was just the difficult balance of keeping guys healthy, but then getting better at football, because there's been a lot made of how you don't practice as hard, you can't tackle as well, and how that can maybe lead to some sloppy play at the beginning of the season. But I thought that was just so, that's him, but it's just raw and real about, look, that's the hardest part. We want to get guys better at football, and when you do that, you're also kind of making a greater risk for injury, and that's what you don't want. You want to be healthy coming out of this thing.
There's only 9 padded practices before the first game against Cincinnati. I remember when I played in high school, as a freshman in high school, you'd have 2 padded practices, and you'd have 3 a days. The game has changed a lot. And if you're out of practice and somebody tackles somebody to the ground, you'll get in trouble. Like, it's something that they truly monitor. It is such a you want to wrap these guys up in bubble wrap and just have them ready to go from a stamina, a strength perspective. But it is a physical, tough game, and I'm sure Coach Rule, this entire staff, all these fans, you go into fall camp just crossing your fingers. We've already seen what happened to Mac Markway, and you just feel terrible because it's the second fall camp he's not been able to get through essentially the first week. But it's that's the unknown of this sport of let's just get to August 28th, and what we have, let's keep it healthy. However we can do that, but it is a delicate balance.
All right, Woodhouse has been a trusted partner in your everyday since 1975. Shop for your next vehicle with the home team at Woodhouse and the official auto dealer of Nebraska Athletics. Got a fun show ahead for you coming up in hour number 2. Nick Hanley going to join us. We're also going to hear a conversation. I was able to chat with Jakori Barney after practice last week. We've got a little bit of a fun video we're going to play for you on Fan Day. Had a chance to catch up with some of the fans out there, had some questions for some of the players. They asked some good questions, so we're going to bring you that as well. And Kyle had a chance to chat with Dave Revsine of the Big Ten Network. They had their Nebraska Day on the Big Ten Network. He had a chance to chat with him, so we're going to bring you that conversation next. So plenty to come. Keep it here on Sports Nightly. We're back with Kyle's conversation with Dave coming up right after this.
It's the summer sales event with the Ford Groom.
Sam, 30 seconds on the clock. The Ford Summer Sales Event.
Great time to buy.
Correct. What do we have amazing deals on this summer?
Ford trucks and SUVs.
Is Ford America's all-time best-selling auto brand?
Let me think. Yeah, it is.
3 for 3.
What do I win?
You get to work at the Ford Summer Sales Event.
Amazing. I think I was going to do that anyway.
You betcha.
Based on Automotive News Almanac historical data and industry-reported sales data from 1909 through 2024 CY. Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
You expect your home to protect everything you love, but you don't expect the ways water is breaking down your basement and damaging your home. Mold, cracks, and of course visible water are just a few signs your basement is compromised. But there's one way to get answers to all your concerns. A free home inspection from Groundworks. We put water back in its place. Get your free inspection at groundworks.com. License number C142293.
I would have never had the chance to see my daughter become a doctor.
Because my mom wore her seatbelt that day, I get to hug her when I go home.
And then it clicked. Because I wore my seatbelt, I learned that one moment in time can change a person's life forever.
Brought to you by NDOT Highway Safety Office.
The day we were hit was the second to last day of our high school careers.
We were about to graduate as best friends together.
And then it clicked. Because we wore our seatbelt that day, we still get to experience life together.
Brought to you by NDOT Highway Safety Office.
At Woodhouse, we're with you every step of the way. With more than 20 locations and brands, you'll find options that fit your lifestyle. Whether you're looking for your first car, your next SUV, or something built to tow and haul. Enjoy straightforward pricing, helpful guidance, and a dealer experience built around you. Visit one of our convenient locations today or explore your options online at woodhouse.com. Serving our customers for 50 years, this is Woodhouse.
A winning insurance strategy doesn't rely on one person. It takes a team that knows its roles well, working together to provide an exceptional experience. J.D. Power ranked the team at Shelter Insurance #1 in customer satisfaction among auto insurers in the Central Region 6 out of the last 7 years. For J.D. Power award information, visit jdpower.com/awards.
See Shelter Agent Derek Hostert in Lincoln, Shelley Wheeler in Grand Island, or Jeff Florum in North Platte today.
Nebraskans are choosing chiropractic for better health. Why chiropractic? Because it's safe, drug-free, and a cost-effective treatment option for back and joint pain. Plus, all generations can benefit from natural chiropractic care. Choose chiropractic first for pain relief or to improve your mobility, athletic performance, or overall wellness. Make chiropractic your first choice for better health and find a chiropractic physician near you at nebraskachiropractic.org. Get your life back with chiropractic.
It's the summer sales event with the Ford Groom.
Sam, 30 seconds on the clock. The Ford Summer Sales Event.
Great time to buy.
Correct. What do we have amazing deals on this summer?
Ford trucks and SUVs.
Is Ford America's all-time best-selling auto brand?
Let me think. Yeah, it is.
3 for 3.
What do I win?
You get to work at the Ford Summer Sales Event.
Amazing. I think I was going to do that anyway.
You betcha.
Based on Automotive News Almanac historical data and industry-reported sales data from 1909 through 2024 CY.
The Huskers Radio Network Broadcast Center is sponsored by Akrs, the Midwest premier John Deere dealer, supplying the equipment and service to advance agriculture and much more. Akrs, solutions for every field. Welcome back to Sports Nightly with Kyle Crooks. I'm Jessica Coody. Had a text on the text line from Mike talking about Mekhi Nelson. He said, how about Mekhi Nelson being basically named the number 2 running back? That's huge. I think that still is going to be figured out, but Mekhi was a big storyline from Saturday. He impressed a lot of folks in that live practice.
Yeah, I mean, it's not quite set in stone yet.
No,
we got a long way to go here. There's a lot of camp that still has to take place. That running back room as a whole really impresses me, but quick burst. I actually met Mekhi's dad.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that at Fan Day.
So he came up to me, shook my hand, great guy, and he said, you did games at Misericordia, which is in the same area as Wilkesboro, that's where they're from in Pennsylvania, and that's like the town over in Dallas, PA. So we talked about that a little bit, and so it's great to see guys from the area in which I used to call games now doing it on a big level, but you could just see between Nelson and Mosey, the burst, how electric those two guys are going to be. Emmett is solidified as the number 1 running back, but we all know how Dana likes to use those quick, shifty running backs, especially in the pass game, and I think that's where Mosey might have a huge responsibility in this offense. And then plus, let's wait to see Quentin Ives get healthier now.
Connor Booth has had some flashes.
I'm happy you brought him up because it's somebody that me and you have talked about multiple times when we're at practice, where it just seems like he has an extra level. He's not the biggest guy, he's probably a little under 6 foot, but he just, whenever he has a rep, he attacks it, that cliche 110%. Like, I could truly see him, especially in those Akron, Houston Christian games, at least seeing some carries, along with Kenneth Williams, who's a guy, don't sleep on him. He has burst as well. But I think you could see him in some games, but also you never know when things come up when you might need a 3rd or a 4th back. And I think Connor Booth can factor into that conversation as well.
How often do people come up to you talking about that job at where was it?
Misericordia.
Yeah.
Yes. Not many. So that was the first and probably last time Mekhi Nelson's dad repping Wilkesboro, which is actually the home of the AAA affiliate of the New York Yankees, the Rail Riders, Scranton Wilkesboro Rail Riders.
You got a hat from there?
No, but
some
it's
people
famous...
collect those hats, so
yeah,
or from different baseball caps from wherever the
minor leagues too, because they're wacky.
Yeah,
a lot of different nicknames.
All right, well, we had talked about last week that the Big Ten crew was there. They were on their campus visit. They were here on Friday. They've re-aired the show a couple of times. I think there were some takeaways that maybe people talked about Dana Holgorsen and his backstory with the conversation with Coach Rule. But I guess what were some of your takeaways before we get to your conversation with Dave Revsine?
Yeah, so when I looked at it, especially the biggest thing I think that came out of it from a headline perspective probably was when Dana Holgorsen had mentioned about the offensive coordinator position possibly being a reality prior to last season. I think that was something that maybe was known throughout, maybe had been reported before, but Dana sort of offered that up in the interview. Dylan echoing Rocco Spindler's thoughts about this being the best offensive line in the country and winning that Joe Moore Award. Dylan backing that up. I think it was a lot of good information. Most of those things are positive, and they have a positive spin on them because it's, in a way, they're sort of infomercials for the conference. But I think a lot of what they said is true. I think defensively, it's a better team, especially up front. And to see the national perspective from some of those analysts come in and actually see the size of the offensive line, see the size of this team at the line of scrimmage on the defensive side, see the speed and some of the skill positions, I think that was really good. But no, I had a chance to talk with Dave, who's been a part of the Big Ten Network's coverage for quite some time now, and this was the first stop in the Big Ten Network's tour around the Big Ten. Chatted with him, just getting that national perspective on Coach Rule, year 3. We all know that. That's been a big storyline. His thoughts on Dylan Riola, just where Nebraska is right now in the grand scheme of things in the Big Ten. And here's my conversation with Dave at practice the other day.
Yeah, they're amazing. Kyle, I want to welcome you to the Big Ten. Obviously the circumstances are challenging. We'll miss Greg tremendously, an unbelievable gentleman, but thrilled for you and this opportunity. To your question, though, yeah, this place is amazing. It kind of always has been. I remember when they first joined the Big Ten. I think we're going on the 14th or 15th season, 14th maybe, for Nebraska in the Big Ten. I lose track. I remember coming here and seeing the facilities then and being really wowed. Like, man, they were ahead of the game. But the game's changed, and people had kind of caught up. But what they've done here over the last few years is pretty staggering. We had a chance to walk through it earlier today. So, yeah, it's amazing, and always exciting to get going on the tour and exciting to start the year, and this is a great place to start it.
And, David, we're pretty centric about Nebraska here, but you have a national perspective to what maybe those on the outside think of Nebraska. So let me ask you, what is the perception of the 2025 Huskers?
I think my sense is last year was really important, just kind of breaking through, getting to the bowl game, getting the streak of losing seasons out of the way. Like all that stuff, I just think that one extra win just means so much. So to me, now the sense is, okay, well, what's the next step? And it feels like, man, the schedule's very cooperative, as I think Nebraska fans are well aware. I mean, you don't play a true road game until week 6, until well into October. I love having the first 2 conference games at home. I think that Michigan game is going to be a really big game. Obviously, got to go to Kansas City and beat Cincinnati to get off on the right foot, and that'll be a challenging game. But, yeah, I think kind of the sense is they broke through a little bit last year. They got some monkeys off their back. And now, can you win close games, which has been such a bugaboo? Can you figure out a way to beat ranked teams, which has also been a bugaboo? That's how you take the next step as a program. But I think, again, you only play one of the 4 playoff teams from the Big Ten from a year ago. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that sets up nicely for Nebraska. And then I'm anxious to see what we see on the field here today. We haven't had a chance to watch practice, but it feels like the offensive line is going to be better. Interested to see what that defensive front looks like since they're kind of rebuilding that group a little bit. But, yeah, I mean, it feels like it's in a good spot with Matt here.
And you mentioned Matt, year 3, it seems like it's a big jump, whether it's Temple, Baylor, and now here, year 3 at Nebraska. You've had the chance to interact with them in your duties with the Big Ten Network. When you talk to Coach Rule, what makes him unique? What makes him special?
Well, I kind of like his demeanor. I think that he is he's intense, but it's not it's not in a screaming and yelling sort of way, and I kind of like that. I think that works with the modern day student athlete. I mean, I think his experience speaks for itself. The fact that he has taken programs that were in tough spots and has built them up. You get credibility there. I think the fact he's been in the NFL, I know the NFL head coaching didn't go the way that he wanted it to go, but I think the fact that he's been in the league probably helps him a lot in terms of credibility with players. And I just feel like he kind of gets this place, even though he's not of this place. He seems to kind of have internalized what Nebraska's about. I think he kind of fits with who, in my experience, again, I'm not from here either, but I've spent 15 years observing it. I think he fits. He's the kind of person that Nebraska people want representing them. I think in much the same way of Fred Hoiberg. I think of them in a lot in kind of the way they carry themselves and their demeanor. So I think there's a lot to like here. And as you said, the track record of year 3 has been pretty good, 4-win improvement each place. So you do that this year, you win 11 games, and I think Nebraska fans would be deliriously happy.
You know this league really, really well. You watch every game on every Saturday, wherever the Big Ten is playing. Where does that second tier, so you talk about the Ohio States, Penn States, Oregon, I think everybody has a consensus. You put them in the top 3 and whatever you want to do with Michigan, but outside of that, where does maybe Nebraska sit in, if you say, that second tier?
I mean, I think the second tier is really big, so I'm not sure I could rank them. I mean, I might be better qualified to rank them in 2 or 3 weeks when we've kind of traveled around and seen, for me, 13 of the 18. I won't see the West Coast, and then I'm not going to see Illinois, but I've spent a lot of time around them this summer. Feel like I have a pretty good grasp on them. So I don't know. I think Nebraska's in that group. Where they fit in that group, I don't know. But I do think, like you kind of delineated the top 3 as people see it, being kind of Penn State, Oregon, Ohio State in some order. Last year we had 4 teams make the playoffs. So is there another spot there for one of those teams that maybe is perceived as being in that middle tier? Can it be Nebraska? Can it be Illinois? Could Michigan, whoever that is, Iowa? I think they're in that conversation. Again, I think there are a lot of teams in that conversation. But the thing that I said, I mean, last year Indiana blew up the whole paradigm. No one left Big Ten Media Days last year. I mean, they were picked 17th in the league, and they end up making the playoffs. So I think it's indicative in this day and age, again, if the schedule cooperates, which I think Nebraska does, if you've got the pieces in place and you catch some breaks along the way, why not Nebraska? I mean, I grew up, I'm a lot older than you are, but I mean, I grew up with, like, if you would have told me when I was following the Big Ten, which I've been doing since I was 6 years old, if you would have said, well, first of all, if you would have said Nebraska would be in the Big Ten, I would have been surprised. But then if you would have said, you're going to reach a point where Nebraska has the longest bowl drought of any team in the power conferences, I would have told you were clinically insane. I mean, this place can be great. They have seen greatness. They have done it. And so I think there's no reason to think they can't do it again.
Final one, Dave, but Dylan Riola at the quarterback spot. I talked to him at Big Ten Media Days, and I said, how rare is it now to be a true freshman where you play an entire season? So he has that step up. He's played a full season already. Again, from that national perspective, I'm really excited to get your thoughts on where you see Dylan possibly taking the jump here in year 2.
Well, he's got to cut down on mistakes. The interceptions were an issue, I think, last year. I'm excited to see what he does with a full season of Dana Holgorsen. I mean, just looking at the completion percentage last year and in those games where Dana was running the offense, how much higher it was up over 70%. I just think it kind of fits with his skill set. It is hard, as you say, to be a true freshman. It's so unusual. I mean, a true freshman to start every game. You think like Christian Hackenberg. I mean, you kind of got to go back through in the Big Ten. There just haven't been many guys who have done that. That experience is so valuable for him to have done it and had a good year. I think bodes so well. But, I mean, obviously the skill set's just off the charts. So I'm as excited as you are and as excited as Huskers fans are to see where it goes. But I think kind of to your question of how is he perceived nationally, whenever you're a recruit that's that highly thought of, I think you're perceived as one who can be great. And I'm anxious to see what this year is for him.
Well, Dave, we're excited for you to get a chance to see the Huskers for the first time. This is you look at them at the line of scrimmage. It's a really, really big team. Looks like a Big Ten team. And year 3 of Matt Rule, we're excited for it. We're excited for your coverage here of the Big Ten Network Fall Camp Tour. You're going to go all around the conference starting here in Lincoln. So we appreciate the time.
All right, thanks, Cal.
Oh, great stuff there. I loved a lot of the things that he said, but isn't he just such a nice guy? He comes on with us every fall. Greg used to chat with him, and so I'm glad you were able to chat with him, and great perspective. But he's such a nice guy, isn't he?
Awesome. And so they were going to Minnesota. I think they had the Minnesota show on Saturday. We recorded that on Thursday, I believe, of that week. So they were flying out to Minnesota. As soon as that show was done, so they filmed everything that day, had it repurposed for that night, and aired it that night. So great job by the crew. I mean, they do an outstanding job covering the conference.
Yeah, great stuff. We got to get to a break, but coming up next, we're going to bring you a little fun video from Fan Day. Had some fans ask some questions for the players, so we're going to bring you that here on the other side of this. Keep it here on Sports Nightly.
No matter what you're looking for, you'll find it at Woodhouse. We carry a wide selection of trusted brands across more than 20 locations, offering everything from efficient daily drivers to bold new EVs and family-ready SUVs. At Woodhouse, we put your experience first, offering expert guidance and a trusted team that's guaranteed to help you find the right vehicle. Visit a location near you or start shopping online at woodhouse.com. More ways to drive, more reasons to trust. This is Woodhouse.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
I got to see my brother get married.
I would have missed my dad's birthday.
Because I wore my seatbelt, I had the privilege of being part of his special day.
I got to go home and see my family again.
Does it click yet?
Brought to you by NDOT Highway Safety Office.
I would have never had the chance to see my daughter become a doctor.
I was able to go to my brother's graduation.
I wouldn't have adopted my first pet.
And then it clicked. My seatbelt saved my life. Does it click yet?
Brought to you by NDOT Highway Safety Office.
You expect your home to protect everything you love, but you don't expect that water is the reason parts of your concrete have gotten so uneven. Walkway tripping hazards, sinking pool deck, cracked driveways are dangerous threats to everyone's safety. But there's one way to learn how your concrete can be lifted. A free home inspection from Groundworks. We put water back in its place. Get your free inspection at groundworks.com. License number C142293.
It's the summer sales event with the Ford Groom.
Sam, 30 seconds on the clock. The Ford Summer Sales Event.
Great time to buy.
Correct. What do we have amazing deals on this summer?
Ford trucks and SUVs.
Is Ford America's all-time best-selling auto brand?
Let me think. Yeah, it is.
3 for 3.
What do I win?
You get to work at the Ford Summer Sales Event.
Amazing. I think I was going to do that anyway.
You betcha.
Based on Automotive News Almanac historical data and industry-reported sales data from 1909 through 2024 CY.
Pickup truck, sports car, motorcycle, minivan, townhouse, two-story, farmhouse, fixer-upper. What you drive and where you live is different for everyone, so it's important to have insurance that fits your needs and is just right for you. At Shelter Insurance, we understand that, which is why our agents help you design a comprehensive auto, home, and life insurance plan. Insurance that fits just right.
See Shelter Agent Josh Ahrens in Kearney, Scott Vermas in La Vista, or Dennis Malloy in Bellevue today.
Nebraskans are choosing chiropractic for better health. Why chiropractic? Because it's safe, drug-free, and a cost-effective treatment option for back and joint pain. Plus, all generations can benefit from natural chiropractic care. Choose chiropractic first for pain relief or to improve your mobility, athletic performance, or overall wellness. Make chiropractic your first choice for better health and find a chiropractic physician near you at nebraskachiropractic.org. Get your life back with chiropractic.
At Woodhouse, we're with you every step of the way. With more than 20 locations and brands, you'll find options that fit your lifestyle. Whether you're looking for your first car, your next SUV, or something built to tow and haul. Enjoy straightforward pricing, helpful guidance, and a dealer experience built around you. Visit one of our convenient locations today or explore your options online at woodhouse.com. Serving our customers for 50 years, this is Woodhouse.
Woodhouse has been a trusted partner in your everyday since 1975. Shop for your next vehicle with the home team at Woodhouse and the official auto dealer of Nebraska Athletics. Well, again, Saturday was fan day, and it was a great turnout. A lot of kiddos out there getting a lot of things signed and meeting their heroes. We had a different idea that we wanted to do this year and let them ask some questions to some of their favorite Huskers. They had some good questions. We got some good information out of the questions. So we wanted to play that for you here on Sports Nightly. Here's some fans asking a bunch of different players a bunch of different questions.
My name is Justin, and this question is for Jacory. Which game are you most hyped for this season?
Every game. There's no single game that's more important than the other one. I'm ready to make plays in each and every one of them. Whichever one is the best by the end of the season, I'll let you know then. But for now, all of them.
My name is Reed. My question is for Dane. What sport would you play if you weren't playing for football?
Baseball.
Why is that?
I played baseball in high school. My high school baseball coach wanted me to play college baseball, but I chose football.
My name's Henry Hirsch, and my question's for Saya Wright, and it's, does he believe that he will be a top 5 Heisman candidate?
Top 5 Heisman, I might as well be top 1 Heisman winner. You heard it here first.
My name is is Reagan, and my question for Dylan is how hard is it playing football, and how is it like?
Football is hard. It sucks getting hit, but I'd say football's hard. Yeah, it's a hard sport.
My name is Lincoln, and my question is to Riley. Who is the hardest first hitter you've ever gone against?
I would say Justin Evans. Justin Evans Jenkins. That's my answer. Yeah.
Teammate, too. What makes him so tough?
I'd say no diss on him, but he's a little bit shorter of a guy, so his pads get underneath you, and you have to stay low, and he's just a strong, squatty guy.
My name is Cash Boggs, and my question is for Marquise Buford Jr. Who is the most trash talker on the team?
Me. 100%. I can't even be modest and pick anyone else. This is definitely me.
Who's number 2 then?
Jakori Barney. He's probably the one I'm into it with half the time.
I'm Grace, and I have a question for Emmett. What's the biggest advice you'll give yourself?
Just to, keep God first and just keep pushing for the limits and never let nobody tell you that you can't do something.
Olivia, my question is for the cheerleaders. What they're gonna be for Halloween.
I think I'm gonna be Tate McRae.
My name is Owen. My question is for Emmett, and who are you inspired by?
My family, especially my older brother, Charles Johnson, he inspires me every day to be the best version of myself.
My name is Bo. I'm asking this to Barney. Who is your favorite NFL player growing up?
My favorite player growing up, I'm definitely going to say Odell Beckham Jr. Just the energy he brought towards the game. He changed recess forever with that one-hand catch. And I just like this style as a guy, you know what I'm saying? So I'll probably say Odell Beckham.
My name's Garrett Gresham. My question's for Dylan Riola. What's your favorite NFL team?
Detroit Lions. Shout out to Pops.
My name's Kane, and my question for Emmett is, what's the hardest part in conditioning?
The hardest part about conditioning is the mind game of it, mind game part about it, and how tough it is, and just telling yourself that you can do it. That's probably the toughest part about conditioning.
Xander Jackson.
Which player do you want me to ask the question?
Pierce. What's your favorite part about being a Husker?
I would say just, this right here, just like being able to come out here and have such a supportive fan base, and people are we have such a big impact on these people, and just to have that influence is really cool, and just to have this stage that we're on is great and a blessing, and I just thank God for it. So
go Big Red!
That was a lot of fun. And listen, I did not feed the questions. They came up with them on their own, and then we got some great answers. I thought one of the big notables, Riley, was asked. I actually asked it wrong. I said, "Who's the toughest guy to block?" He said Justin Evans. That's good. That's good. Riley's played some football at the Big Ten level, and the fact that he quickly went to Justin Evans. And then how about Jakori Barney and his response about Odell Beckham Jr.? He changed recess forever.
When I heard that, I almost keeled over in my chair because how old am I? Recess and Jakori Barney and Odell, that wasn't that long ago. That's what troubles me the most out of this whole thing. I couldn't believe that. So I'm 34 years old, and Odell's, I was in college when Odell was playing, and out of college, and he's still in the recess. I can't get over that.
You saw I got off to a rough start. I got turned down quite a bit, but then once we got rolling, we got.
There's
some
a
good
lot
stuff.
of timid young kids out there. You throw a mic in their face, they don't respond well to it. But you got some young reporters that are going to be coming after our jobs.
Absolutely,
in 10, 20 years.
Someone said a lot of questions for Emmett, and it wasn't. There were a couple that I was like, "Do you have somebody else?" Because we wanted to spread it out. Boy, they knew right away who else they wanted to talk to. But Emmett was a very popular out there, along with Dylan. But Emmett was a popular guy.
You know, it's funny. I was looking over as Fan Day was winding down. They had the clock that was counting down to them having to leave and go to practice. But I looked over to Dylan, and he was doing the arm windmill because his right arm was just numb from signing autographs. But they truly understand how important that event is to fans. I'm not sure if they have that event at every single big university or every single big program, but that means a lot to a lot of people. And when you walked into the Hawks, you could see the line wrapping around the parking lot for that event. Really cool.
All right, we got to get to a break. We're back to wrap up hour number 1 next.
You're going to feel a puff of air.
Jong's Optometry has set their sights on staffing up.
Try the next line. Hey, Kim, can you tell our 2 o'clock we're running 15 behind? Sorry, we're a bit backed up today.
He needs an optometric technician to keep an eye on it all.
Where are the dilation drops?
Indeed can help him hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. You can schedule and conduct virtual interviews all from your employer dashboard. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
At Shelter Insurance, we believe insurance should adjust to fit your needs. That's why we work with you to design an auto, home, and life insurance plan that's particular to you. Insurance that fits just right. And Shelter is known for our award-winning customer service, satisfied customers, and a plan for you. Ready to check us out? Shelter Insurance. We're your shield. We're your shelter.
See Shelter Agent Travis Hawk in Scottsbluff, Jim Mowinkle in Gretna, or Shane Bernhardt in Norfolk.
Nebraskans are choosing chiropractic for better health. Why chiropractic? Because it's safe, drug-free, and a cost-effective treatment option for back and joint pain. Plus, all generations can benefit from natural chiropractic care. Choose chiropractic first for pain relief or to improve your mobility, athletic performance, or overall wellness. Make chiropractic your first choice for better health and find a chiropractic physician near you at nebraskachiropractic.org. Get your life back with chiropractic.
Welcome back. Just got a couple minutes left here. Hour number 1. Kyle, I know what I was going to bring up. So Coach Hoiberg actually had media availability today, and it was announced that Rink Mast is full go. And I know you're still learning all the teams, but that's a big storyline that Rink decided to come back, and they were able to be very, very patient with his return. He's going to be, probably the center of this offense and this team. He's a great player, but was a great leader last year, coach from the bench, and I'm glad he's healthy, and I'm glad that they were also able to be patient with it and get him back right. And that's what Coach Hoiberg talked a lot about, just a guy that has the potential to have a future beyond playing college basketball, and they wanted to make sure that they protected that. But glad that he's back, and they just raved about how he handled everything last year. And so and he's going to be a big piece, and they're glad to get him back out there.
I've been talking to a bunch of people about men's basketball and that team. A lot of people are really excited about the team this year. I actually met Kent Pavelka for the first time in person. We had a chance to chat on Friday and just sort of get Kent's thoughts on the job, and he loves this team this year.
Yeah, it's always fun too. In the summer, he puts out the different pronunciation guides.
Yeah,
so that
some tough ones this year on the team.
Yeah.
Really, really tough.
They didn't make it easy on him, right? But how was Kent? You guys had some
awesome.
coffee?
We had some coffee. We were just kind of going through some of the good old times, what to expect, and he gave me encouragement and some advice going into this job. So he could not have been any nicer, and I look forward to listening to him throughout the year on men's basketball.
We love Kent. Always fun when we start getting him on, making regular appearances here on Sports Nightly as well. All right, that's going to do it. Thanks for being here. We'll talk to you again tomorrow night. Nick Hanley going to join us next. We're going to also hear from Jakori Barney. So plenty to come. Keep it here on Sports Nightly, hour number 2, just ahead.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
No matter what you're looking for, you'll find it at Woodhouse. We carry a wide selection of trusted brands across more than 20 locations, offering everything from efficient daily drivers to bold new EVs and family-ready SUVs. At Woodhouse, we put your experience first, offering expert guidance and a trusted team that's guaranteed to help you find the right vehicle. Visit a location near you or start shopping online at woodhouse.com. More ways to drive, more reasons to trust. This is Woodhouse.
This year, we considered hiring an ad agency to help with our marketing.
They pitched impressive visuals and a script that was inspiring.
And exotic animal mascots to help grab your attention.
In the end, we just decided to tell it to you straight. Shelter Insurance has award-winning customer service at affordable rates.
Plus, our local agents are there to help you understand what coverage you need.
See shelter agents Pete Voles or Brent Ruggo in North Platte, or in Broken Bow, see agent Brent Custer.
You expect your home to protect everything you love, but you don't expect the ways water is breaking down your crawl space and damaging your home. Musty smells, sagging floors, mold are just a few signs your crawl space is compromised. But there's one way to get answers to all your concerns. A free home inspection from Groundworks. We put water back in its place. Get your free inspection at groundworks.com. License number C142293.
It's the summer sales event with the Ford Groom.
Sam, 30 seconds on the clock. The Ford Summer Sales Event.
Great time to buy.
Correct. What do we have amazing deals on this summer?
Ford trucks and SUVs.
Is Ford America's all-time best-selling auto brand?
Let me think. Yeah, it is.
3 for 3.
What do I win?
You get to work at the Ford Summer Sales Event.
Amazing. I think I was going to do that anyway.
You betcha.
Based on Automotive News Almanac historical data and industry-reported sales data from 1909 through 2024 CY.
Good evening and welcome to Sports Nightly. I'm Henry Goodwin here with the Sports Ticker. In Husker baseball news, Kristo signed with the Atlanta Braves as an undrafted free agent and has reported to their spring training complex. This Kristo makes it the third Husker pitcher to continue with an MLB team after Mason McConaughey and Luke Broderick were selected in the draft earlier this summer. Nebraska Bowling is set to join Conference USA as an affiliate member for the upcoming season. The Huskers are set to join the toughest conference in college bowling, after being independent since the program was elevated to varsity status in the 1997-98 season. Nebraska soccer is set to travel to Brookings, South Dakota to take on the South Dakota State Jackrabbits in an exhibition game tomorrow. Following that, the Huskers will host Colorado State at Hibner Stadium on Friday at 7. Admission for that game is free for fans. This has been our Sports Ticker. Now, get ready for Hour 2 of Sports Nightly right here on the Huskers Radio Network.
Coming to you live from Memorial Stadium, it's Sports Nightly. All the Huskers, all the time. Sports Nightly is presented to you by the NDOT Highway Safety Office, who remind you to buckle up and put the phone down.
The Siege behind the screen, dances around, has he moved, pump fake, out it comes to Jacobson, puts it up and in! Holy smokes! Way to go, Kale! Kale Jacobson from Ashland, Nebraska, into the starting lineup 3 games ago, hits a huge, humongous, gigundous 3.
Runs and deals. Ball swings and lifts a fly ball to left. Cullivan going back to the wall, and it's good! Home run, Jordy Ball! A towering drive to left field by Jordy Ball, and that ties the school record for home runs in a season by a Husker. Allie Viola, you've got company. It's the best player in college softball with her 3rd home run of the weekend, Jordy Ball.
Bump set left. Almodovar's in the front row. She tips it. Doug. Huskers own it. Set left. Harper again. Over dig and out. Floyd Harper Murray in the big red. She's carrying him. That's 18 kills for Harper. It's 25-24 Nebraska.
Now, here are your hosts, Jessica Coody and Nick Hanley, on the Huskers Radio Network.
And welcome back. Hour number 2 of Sports Nightly on this Monday evening. Nick Hanley joining us here in hour number 2, as he has been doing. Nick, how was the weekend? You played some golf. How'd it go? Are we scramble champions?
We weren't champions, but, we were champions of having a good time. My wife played with me on Friday, and a big thank you to the good folks at Quality Brands, who is also the provider for all of the beverages that folks might have had at the practice on Saturday, providing all of those spirits for what you're seeing at Memorial Stadium. So got to golf with those guys. They were awesome. And then on Saturday, had a chance to get out and golf with some friends as well in a scramble. We didn't win, but again, we won in pure enjoyment of the game and good weather and entertainment.
I love that. We need to coin that, champions of fun. That's a nice way of saying, of putting a spin on it, that, hey, we did not win.
Yeah, exactly.
And just so people are, if they're concerned, you don't update your handicap on scrambles. So if they're
because that would be unfair. You guys would be like, wow. We were obviously under par. So if I'm going out shooting even 4 under par, that's way beyond my handicap. So that would be fudging my numbers big time. So no, I got to say right at that 14, which is typically putting me in the low mid 80s per round, which is pretty common with me.
Yeah. Well, you talked about it, just the beverages out there, and I think it's okay to say now. I think with the setup that they're doing, they've been implementing it over the last month or so of getting it ready for the first game, and we saw a little bit of it. But I think it's pretty cool, the options. They have the walk-up coolers where you can kind of grab your own, and then so I think it's gonna. When you talk about the infrastructure and being able to execute it, and I know that was a topic for years leading up to being able to execute it. And the decision to go the way that they did with how they're implementing it. I think it's going to be a cool deal for people that want to partake in that.
I love I'm glad you brought up the walk-up cooler part, because I noticed that at one of the last, when they were the Cleveland Indians, it was like the last year they were the Indians before the name change, and we went out to Progressive Field in Cleveland, and I remember how convenient that was to just be able to walk up to it. You get your drink. Obviously, you got to have a wristband and you be ID'd, and then it's essentially you put your card down and you get scanned and you're good to go. So, I mean, and that you see those pop-up stands there, doesn't require all this major construction to accommodate that type of liquor sales. So I think what you've seen in the modern trend of trying to fit these types of opportunities for fans in older stadiums, whether we're talking football or baseball or even hockey or any other sport where you do have maybe older buildings, it's really tough to be able to have even minor construction, because that could disrupt the season or at least make it very challenging for your fans attending, that you can put sort of these pop-up ones around and you make it a cashless situation where it becomes very easy, very smooth, and you're not waiting in these huge lines
missing
as well.
Many
You're
big
getting
plays.
what you need. Yeah, absolutely. And isn't that the goal of this too? I mean, get your cold one, but you don't have to miss anything too. So yeah, I wasn't worried that Nebraska was going to have any issues when it came to that, but getting a chance to see the setup and the different options on how you can purchase your beverages, good on them. And it's only going to get better too, because that's the one thing that we always have to say when you're rolling out something new like this that's going to appeal to more than 2% of the fans, is you got to be a little patient. I remember when Pinnacle Bank, the Nebraska basketball Pinnacle Bank Arena, rolled it out for basketball games. Sometimes the lines were a little bit long early on, but they figured it out. Same thing at Haymarket Park when they made that available, I think it was 2 seasons ago. And early on, it seemed like, okay, there were some lines, but it didn't take long for them to figure it out. So I'm sure you're going to have a little bit of that, but I think for the most part, you have a good system in place.
And, you know, I again, with Aramark Sports and taking over, and they do a lot of the professional type teams. You just mentioned Cleveland. Kyle went to a professional game recently. He said they do that. And I don't know if I've been to a college stadium recently. I mean, I obviously have not been to every stadium, but certainly the ones that we've been to here in the last that have that kind of option. But again, just the kind of pro style type experience that is not just, you know, what we're seeing over at the new facilities, but with the actual, you know, game day experience as well. I think that was the goal with Aramark, is being able to provide some of these experiences that you do get at the professional level.
Yeah, and I think that was a lot of people's concern early on, is if you're going to, you know, put in taps and you're going to put in a lot of different things to accommodate liquor sales, then it was at least going to take some minor construction that could be very annoying to fans, and it could create a lot of traffic flow issues in and out of the stadium. But the way that you've seen now over the last handful of years to implement these little pop-up stands and making it a cashless, just, you know, as long as you know that if you're using your card, that's going to be the way to go, that you're going to make it very quick, very efficient, but also you're not going to have to settle for, well, to make it fast and quick, I can only get this one option. I mean, you still have plenty of options. So it's very slick how they've been able to accommodate the older buildings in older stadiums without having a major disruption with construction to put in all of these fancy taps and put in a new, you know, sports bar viewing experience to watch the game and to have a beverage where, no, that's not the point here. It's just to have another beverage option for people that are of age that can do it responsibly, and for the university to be able to generate even that much more revenue, which, I mean, to me, it's a no-brainer.
Absolutely. Okay, well, you were not able to be out here on Saturday night because of said golf scramble, but I know it was flooding the timelines on social media. Oh, yeah. Were there any big storylines that surprised you that were trending following Saturday's open practice?
Yeah, I think the thing that I was really kind of interested in and maybe surprised a little bit, and I just don't think we've talked about him that much because he is a transfer, But Kyle Kunanen, if I'm saying his last name right, I'll get it right at some point.
Cunanan.
But between he and John Hull, everybody seemed to really like Cunanan. Sorry, Kyle Cunanan. Thank you. I think everybody was kind of getting their first glimpse of him, and it looked like he and John Hull, and this is not to discount Tristan Alvano because we know Tristan Alvano has got a big leg as well, but it looked like between Cunanan and John Hull, they were putting on a pretty good show out there, and I think that was a very welcome sight for a lot of the fans to see consistency between the uprights, because there are so many different things that you and I and Kyle and everyone else want to see with that third phase. And that is a big part of it right there. Obviously, kick and punt return are going to be big. Punting is going to be big. And it sounded like that looked pretty good there, too. A good athlete that's got a lot of versatility at punter. But I think more than anything for me is if you're seeing whoever Mike Eckler and Nebraska settle on for the guy that will come out there to try to kick maybe a meaningful 43 or 44-yard field goal, that you feel confident because he's done it enough throughout the season that he's going to be able to drill the uprights, or not drill the uprights, but actually split the uprights, drill the kick. And so that, to me, I know it sounds like out of everything, that was your biggest takeaway. I think it's great to see that there is legitimate competition, and not competition of, well, let's give this guy a try now because the other guy isn't making the kicks consistently. Because remember, It wasn't so long ago that we were seeing that where, okay, this person's making about 50% of them, so now we got to bring in this kicker, and then he wasn't. And so you almost had a winner by default, as opposed to having three kickers really be able to battle it out to where when the dust settles, you're going to have someone that you feel very, very good about. I think that's a great development on a phase that, as we've talked about so many times, has to improve.
Yeah, absolutely. And, to your point about just maybe at times some inconsistency there in multiple seasons, and not just even pointing out one guy, and even other teams that have some inconsistencies at the kicking game, a lot of it is you don't have anybody else you can call on, to step in there. Right. And so the fact that we're hearing that there's a battle there and that multiple guys have been performing well, I mean, that's not always been the case with when you hear who won later on down the road. It might not always unfold that way. But it sounds like that there's actually some guys that are actually really battling it out and doing some positive things consistently. And that's what you want to hear. That way, if you do ever have a need to call on somebody else, you have confidence in him because you've seen him do it in practice multiple times.
100%. And the other part about that is we know, and I know it's the thing at least 3 or 4 times before the season starts, we have to talk about the one-score losses, or at least the one-score games. And we know that can be the difference of being on the better end of that record as opposed to being on the bad end of it. And so those little things and having that confidence in the offense, being able to have a drive, but then maybe stalling out inside the opponent's 35-yard line, you're still able to get some points out of it and not put that much pressure on the defense. And we know how it all works hand in hand. So I just thought that was very positive. And to have a little bit of crowd there, obviously there's going to be, 75,000 at least more there. But to have even a little bit of crowd and being under the lights, maybe a little bit of that primetime feel to it, to see that those guys were competing the way that they were, I think that's a great sign.
I'll tell you something else, too, that I think has been a really nice answer to maybe one of the questions. We sat here, the three of us, and what are the big question lines? And mine was running back, and what does it look like behind him at Johnson? And I think we heard it last week. The coach is talking about Mekhi Nelson and just his progression, and I think fans got a glimpse of that on Saturday as well. I think there's been a couple of the running backs that have stepped up and done well. And so I think that question for me is trending on the upward, it's on the upward trajectory of having some positive options there. Some guys that also, because since I've been here every season, this team has needed not 3 running backs. Sometimes they've needed 4 running backs to get through a season. And so the more depth and talent you can continue to, and not just do things with the football, but do the other things right, the better you feel. And so I feel like we're starting to see that there are some really, really good options that are stepping up and, getting the most of their opportunities here throughout fall camp that are right there with him.
Yeah, and everything we heard about the Mekhi Nelson on his emergence, I think a lot of people had a chance to see on Saturday, and that I think the word that I heard probably used more to describe him in person was explosiveness, and being able to see that out of the backfield, whether it's to attack a crease or to get to that second level and separate yourself from the secondary and bust off those big runs. We've heard Emmett Johnson talk about it all the time. He wants to be able to turn in those 65, 75-yard type runs to have that explosiveness. Well, this is the one area we've heard about Mekhi Nelson, and I think a lot of people had a chance to see that on Saturday. And, when we were out there, Jessica, last Monday, we saw when Quentin Ives pulled up a little bit gimpy with what now we know is still battling a little bit of a hamstring there too. So, I mean, there was a lot of positivity around Quentin Ives, and it doesn't sound like that is something that's going to keep him out for a long chunk of time. Sounds like he's more day-to-day. And then, as you mentioned, some of the other running backs, I mean, there were some good looks from Connor Booth and the way that he runs really strong. But Isaiah Mosey, who's just getting into that position, but by all accounts, everyone had a chance to see, this is why he moved from receiver to running back. He looks very natural there. And so you would think having the type of body that he does, have the speed that he does, but also what appears to be a very high football IQ, that he can make that transition a lot quicker, because we heard Dana Holgorsen talk about it. They're going to use 4 running backs in any given time. Now, who gets the lion's share of it? Obviously, you would think would be Emmett Johnson, but if you have a home run hitter and say Mekhi Nelson, but you need some tough yards from what maybe Connor Booth could bring you, or a guy that not only can run and hit corners like Mosey, but can also catch out of the backfield as well, that versatility, if you can build that, get to those guys some reps early on in the season, all of a sudden you feel pretty confident, going back to something Emmett Johnson talked about on day one, that he really likes the depth in that room. Maybe we're starting to see a little bit of what he's talking about.
You know what helps, Nick, is when you got a really good offensive line that are opening up those holes for those running backs too. And, someone like Mekhi Nelson doesn't need much space. You just get him a hole, and then he's going to outrun a lot of people, as a lot of people saw on Saturday. So, and I know that the guys that I've talked to throughout camp, and just it's been building, right? I mean, and even Dana Holgorsen addressed that last week, that he was a little concerned about the O-line in spring, because they had a lot of guys that were getting back healthy. But now that group is pretty much full go, that you're starting to see the fruits of a long labor of building that thing back up and getting not just, a really strong starting 5, but guys that you feel confident in behind. And so when you have some running backs that can do special things, just give them a little bit of space. And I think this offensive line is going to be able to do that for these running backs.
I go back to something Rocco Spindler said and told me last week when I had a chance to talk to him. And that was, and again, this is a guy that he's new to this program, so he doesn't feel any major obligation that he has to give the soundbite to the fan base. I think he's just basically giving you an honest answer of what he's seeing. When he said that you could put one group or another group out there, and both those groups are starting in most college football programs, we've talked about this a lot, Jess. It's the depth, and having the depth pieces with the amount of experience that they've had in college football could be a major storyline for this offensive line if they can stay healthy. And if a lot of those guys that are coming back from injury continue on that path, and the guys that are currently healthy stay that way, that's the type of depth that we haven't seen in a while. And I go back to the way Tony White, and what I'm assuming John Butler will also look at how he handles his defensive line. We saw guys that it wasn't necessarily the quantity of reps, it was the quality of reps. And to see those guys so fresh in the fourth quarter when they needed to make some significant stops, especially in the run game, they were able to do so. And they were just getting into the backfield constantly, harassing and really blowing up plays back there. Think about the offensive line. If you can rotate in every now and then, so the guys that are finishing the game are strong and wearing down a defensive line because that stamina is so good. Look, we know they condition them so well, and what Corey Campbell does with these guys from a strength and conditioning standpoint. But if you can get more of the that quality over quantity type feel with this group. And I'm not saying that they're taking series off, at a time, because you got to lather up an offensive line, allow that group to get into a rhythm. But if you can rotate a guy in here and there and keep some guys fresh, that in the fourth quarter, those guys are really pushing that line of scrimmage and getting that push initially, that's huge for this group.
All right, let's go ahead and get to a break. Got a couple more things definitely wanted to get to, including the top 25 for college football, the coaches poll out today. Kyle and I talked about it a little bit, but did want to get your take on that. And also some baseball news, some Husker baseball news today. So we'll chat with Nick about that coming up right after this. Woodhouse has been a trusted partner in your everyday since 1975. Shop for your next vehicle with the home team at Woodhouse and the official auto dealer of Nebraska Athletics.
We just want to have enough money for retirement.
And travel to visit our grandchildren.
I understand. That's why at Fisher Investments, we start by getting to know each other, so I can learn about your family, lifestyle, goals, and needs, allowing us to tailor your portfolio.
What about commission-based products?
We don't sell those. We're a fiduciary, obligated to act in your best interest.
So how do your management fees work?
We have a simple management fee based on the value of your portfolio, so we do better when you do better.
We appreciate that kind of transparency.
We also check in with you regularly to keep you up to date on the markets and your portfolio.
Well, what other services do you offer?
As a client, you have access to resources on investing, financial planning, estate planning, Social Security, Medicare, and more.
Wow, sounds like Fisher Investments has everything we need.
At Fisher Investments, we're clearly different. Learn more at FisherInvestments.com.
Investing in securities involves the risk of loss.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
You expect your home to protect everything you love, but you don't expect the ways water is breaking down your foundation and damaging your home. Cracks in walls and uneven floors are just a few signs your foundation is compromised. But there's one way to get answers to all your concerns. A free home inspection from Groundworks. We put water back in its place. Get your free inspection at groundworks.com. License number C142293.
Did you get us switched over to shelter insurance?
Actually, I found a deal online.
You did? Does your deal come with award-winning customer service?
Oh, I'm not sure.
Does the deal include a local agent?
Doesn't actually say.
Can we create a customized plan that fits our needs? Let's just call the local shelter agent.
For insurance that fits just right, find a shelter agent near you.
See shelter agent Rhonda Miller in Alliance, Stephanie Culver in Holdridge, or Jonah Austin in Fairbury.
At Woodhouse, we're with you every step of the way. With more than 20 locations and brands, you'll find options that fit your lifestyle. Whether you're looking for your first car, your next SUV, or something built to tow and haul. Enjoy straightforward pricing, helpful guidance, and a dealer experience built around you. Visit one of our convenient locations today or explore your options online at woodhouse.com. Serving our customers for 50 years, this is Woodhouse.
Nebraskans are choosing chiropractic for better health. Why chiropractic? Because it's safe, drug-free, and a cost-effective treatment option for back and joint pain. Plus, all generations can benefit from natural chiropractic care. Choose chiropractic first for pain relief or to improve your mobility, athletic performance, or overall wellness. Make chiropractic your first choice for better health and find a chiropractic physician near you at nebraskachiropractic.org. Get your life back with chiropractic.
I would have never had the chance to see my daughter become a doctor.
Because my mom wore her seatbelt that day, I get to hug her when I go home.
And then it clicked. Because I wore my seatbelt, I learned that one moment in time can change a person's life forever.
Brought to you by NDOT Highway Safety Office.
The day we were hit was the second to last day of our high school careers.
We were about to graduate as best friends together.
And then it clicked. Because we wore our seatbelt that day, we still get to experience life together.
Brought to you by NDOT Highway Safety Office.
It's the summer sales event with the Ford Groom.
Sam, 30 seconds on the clock. The Ford Summer Sales Event.
Great time to buy.
Correct. What do we have amazing deals on this summer?
Ford trucks and SUVs.
Is Ford America's all-time best-selling auto brand?
Let me think. Yeah, it is.
3 for 3.
What do I win?
You get to work at the Ford Summer Sales Event.
Amazing. I think I was going to do that anyway.
You betcha.
Based on Automotive News Almanac historical data and industry-reported sales data from 1909 through 2024 CY.
The Huskers Radio Network Broadcast Center is sponsored by Akrs, the Midwest premier John Deere dealer, supplying the equipment and service to advance agriculture and much more. Akrs, solutions for every field. Welcome back to Sports Nightly on this Monday evening with Nick Hanley. I'm Jessica Coody. And Nick, there's a little bit of rain at practice today, but man, the weather, you said it when you were on the golf course, it has just been ideal. And I know what Greg Sharp used to call it, what, a Chamber of Commerce day. Ben posted about that on his social media. Right. So we've had a few of those here over the last week.
Isn't it crazy to think that usually when you start camp, and
it's miserable.
Yes. And they had what, 2 of those days last week, Monday and Tuesday, but they practiced early enough. We were out there Monday. It wasn't that bad because there was a little bit of a breeze. Now, if they were practicing at 2 or 3 o'clock, that might have been a different story. But yeah, since then it's been fantastic. So that is awesome. And my lawn is reaping the benefits. Usually this is when my lawn is taking the biggest hit, but I got the occasional mushroom popping up because the soil is so fertile. I mean, this is great.
Is your lawn like Augusta?
I try to keep it like Augusta.
Yeah.
There's a lot of pressure. I got a lot of good lawn care neighbors that there's like a competition.
Keep up with the Joneses.
I do.
Yeah.
There's a lot of pressure there. It's a healthy competition for sure.
Are you like among the top? Like, have you won yard at the month or anything?
Ooh.
Does that happen in your neighborhood?
It should. It really should. Now, I would say with my mowing equipment, I do pretty good with what I have now. There's a couple that have the commercial push mowers that are putting some legitimate like ball field, like outfield striping on it. So it's hard for me to outdo them, but I think what I'm working with is I feel very confident with. I feel pretty solid about it.
Well, good for you. Good job. Proud of you.
I know you wanted to know all of this.
Yeah. I'm thankful I used to, when I was living with my brother in a house in Oklahoma, we'd have to basically, the weeds would get so high that we just have to do what we could. And so I am glad that I do not have a lawn to look after these days. Okay, well, nice. The top 25 came out today, and for the Huskers, they're receiving votes. But what was your take on that? I know Kyle and I dove into that. But I guess what were some of your, I guess it came out yesterday. What were some of your, notables on the top 25?
Well, first of all, for Nebraska receiving votes, I think it's been very consistent to the narrative of what we've heard nationally. And that is, I think this is a team that's on a lot of people's radar. And I think it's a team that a lot of people want to see how this season goes with Matt Rule, because I think he's got that reputation, obviously, of a year 3 turnaround is where things pop, like he did at Baylor and at Temple. But I think there's also, as you and I have talked about many, many times, there's sometimes that reluctancy to go all in on Nebraska because of the history. And so all of that, I think, is extremely fair. But when I take a look at the top 25 right now, I mean, I think you look at the fact that Texas is number 1, but I think the conversation in what is going to be very, very appetizing in college football is which team out of the Big Ten is going to emerge as the conference title and very well possibly a national champion. Is it going to be Ohio State defending it, or is it going to be Penn State? And according to the votes, you've got Ohio State. And I wonder if that was a little bit more of the, well, they're the defending national champions, so until proven otherwise, we're going to give them a slight nod over Penn State. We want to see what James Franklin can do. But I think if you cornered a lot of people, they have a little bit more confidence maybe in Penn State than Ohio State. But them being ranked at 2 and 3, I don't think was a big surprise. Oregon looming there at 7. So, again, great Big Ten representation. I will tell you this one, though. I still am a little surprised that Illinois is as high as they are.
Really?
Illinois at number 12, because it's been such a sexy conversation of a team out of the Big Ten that's not one of your traditional powers. And I've told you so many times I'm a huge Luke Altmaier fan. I think he is a fantastic quarterback. But can they have an even better season than they did a year ago? Can they have an encore of what was a real solid season last year? And I'm not saying they won't. And I like Brett Bielema, knowing his success, his track record of success in the Big Ten at both Wisconsin and what he's done a couple seasons now at Illinois. I just don't know if I feel they're a top 15 team, at least yet. I might be proven wrong, but that that preseason hype continues for the folks out in Champaign, and we saw it with that ranking at number 12.
Arizona State in at number 11, of course, coming off the magical season last year. I saw a press conference where, apparently they're not practicing like the number 11 team in the country. Did you see that?
Yeah.
That's kind of funny.
Yeah, give them time. I mean, that's another team, though, interesting enough, the way that they finished the season. And obviously not having Scadaboo there, which was a big part of their success, but I give them a lot of credit. The way that they've recruited, and I know you've been to Tempe, Arizona. I don't know how you can't recruit to that place.
Yeah.
I mean, that is a fantastic campus. The area around Tempe is awesome. And so I think between being a part of the Big 12, but also still tapping into, I think, a football brand that still exists. It was fading a little bit, but it still exists. And I think there's a lot of appeal to playing Arizona State football right now, too. And I think you're seeing that with the recruits, because all of a sudden now you're looking at back-to-back top 25 recruiting classes. And so Arizona State continuing to, and give Dillingham a lot of credit. They've been able to really capitalize on, I think, the brand that still exists, that location, but also being in the conference where they showed, hey, you can win the conference, you can get into some big games, you can play in the college football playoff. So I think that it is good right now to be Arizona State football fan, because I think they're just starting to kind of scratch the surface a little bit.
Okay, have to get into some baseball news before we run out of time, but announced today that Kyle Nicholson will be the Director of Player Development for Husker Baseball. Tell us about that position, and, again, with the changes with college athletics and maybe the baseball allowing to maybe do some things there, but just what does that look like for Husker baseball? What is Will Bolt getting in Kyle Nicholson?
Well, first of all, it's a position where you're busting your tail, and you're really looking at a lot of the analytics. You're looking at different pitchers. You're looking at different mechanics, and you're seeing what you're seeing physically, but also what you're seeing from the mental side of it, and other tweaks that you can make. And this is, again, where you go into the data. You're working a lot with your data team when it comes to the TrackMan numbers and everything that comes with trying to build and develop a pitcher. So this is something that Kyle Nicholson is going to be brought in to do. And this is a guy that has a very good college baseball background, both as a player and also as an assistant coach. He's also been a head coach as well. So there are things about the qualifications, knowing that you're going to be working with Rob Childress and knowing what Rob Childress really wants to get out of his staff too. And so I think that when I looked at all of his different accolades and saw his path to get to Nebraska, this is a guy that has had success in the coaching ranks at various levels, from Division II to Division III, and also as a player, for being a grad assistant for Texas A&M as well in the 2011-2012 staff. So there's and he was part of what was a very successful team, and a team that made the College World Series. So being around that success, seeing how the gears move and the buttons that need to be pushed, I think make this to be a very, very intriguing hire. And I think that position, seeing it firsthand last year on what needs to happen to really support mainly Rob Childress, but Will Bolt as well. I think this is based on his experience. I think this is going to be a real great addition for Nebraska.
And the other big baseball news today is Drew Kristo, a fan favorite around here. He gets a deal with the Braves. The Braves love their Huskers.
They do, and I don't know if Schwelly put in a good word for him or not, but yeah, for Drew Kristo, look, this is awesome for him, because you knew he always had a fallback. The guy is extremely intelligent. He's going to be in the medical field whenever he decides that baseball is not the path, and hopefully it is for a very long time for him. But he's got some fallbacks as well. But there's still a lot of life in that right arm, and that body that can produce, I think, some big moments at the professional level for him. Awesome to see, because I talked to him at the end of the season here on Sports Nightly, and I know this was still the goal, was to hopefully get drafted. That didn't happen, but then he was able to work out. He was able to get that UFA deal with the Atlanta Braves. And so now at spring training complex out there in the Braves organization, to get himself ready and to start developing. I think this is awesome for him. I'm excited to see what it turns out to be, because there are a lot of guys in college baseball, and Drew would be the first one to tell you that the first part of his career at Nebraska obviously was not the same as the end. And he had to do a lot more developing than he probably thought he was going to have to do when he got there as a freshman. But he kept it in stride. And I just love that he, despite some inconsistencies early on, he just kept with it. But there are certain guys that they just start figuring it out at the end of their college career. And you get into a system and they start pinpointing certain things, especially as your body has evolved and your arm has evolved, that they're able to work you into even better version of you ever were in college. And I hope that's the case for Drew Kristo, because as we know, an imposing looking guy, hard throwing righty, that I think there's something that definitely was attractive to several scouts, but especially I'm glad that the Braves, and having that connection with Nebraska baseball, as we mentioned, with Spencer Schwellenbach and others that have gone there, it's just very cool. Just very happy for Stowe more than anything.
Do we know what kind of doctor he wants to be?
I thought it was in physical therapy.
Okay.
I don't want to speak out of turn, but I thought he was going to maybe get into the physical therapy realm.
He's impressive, so he'll be successful no matter what he does. And I am just glad he got an opportunity to chase his dreams, and whatever path he ends up on, that dude's going to be successful.
Yeah, 100%.
All right, good stuff. We'll talk to you again tomorrow night.
Sounds good.
Nick Hanley with us here on Sports Nightly. Got to step aside for a break. Coming up next, we're going to hear from Jakori Barney. Keep it here on Sports Nightly.
With Progressive's Name Your Price tool, you get coverage options based on how much you want to pay for car insurance. And then you decide how to spend the rest of your money, because you're in charge. And right now, you're going to pay for groceries. But you decide what groceries. Just keep in mind you're running out of dishwashing soap. But you decide if you're going to buy that soap. Just those dishes won't clean themselves, will they? Remember, with Progressive's Name Your Price tool, we'll help you find coverage at a fair price. And then you're in charge. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Not available in all states. Price and coverage match limited by state law.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Dear Truckin' Awesome. Want more horsepower in the stable? The Tundra iForce Max is the most powerful Tundra ever. With its electrifying twin-turbo V6, you got everything you need. Saddle up the Tacoma TRD Pro. Its segment-first performance seats are designed to smooth out the shocks when the ride gets bumpy. The Toyota 4Runner is part mean streak, part wild side, and an all-around icon. Check out that signature power rear window, will ya? Yes, sir, Toyota trucks. Find yours at Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
See your Omaha Metro and Lincoln Toyota dealers, Corwin Toyota of Bellevue, Village Point Toyota of Omaha, Baxter Toyota of La Vista, or Baxter Toyota of Lincoln.
Noddle Companies proudly supports the Huskers Radio Network. As a full-service leader in commercial real estate, we create thriving communities. Discover what's new in the Builders District in North Downtown, Noddle Hospitality's latest venture in Exarban Village, and the contemporary living of row house townhomes on Leavenworth. We're welcoming world-class concepts from men's fashion and great eats to gorgeous homes and green spaces, all professionally managed by Noddle Services. These are the Noddle Companies, building a better Nebraska. For more information, check us out on Facebook and Instagram.
It's the summer sales event with the Ford Groom.
Sam, 30 seconds on the clock. The Ford Summer Sales Event.
Great time to buy.
Correct. What do we have amazing deals on this summer?
Ford trucks and SUVs.
Is Ford America's all-time best-selling auto brand?
Let me think. Yeah, it is.
3 for 3.
What do I win?
You get to work at the Ford Summer Sales Event.
Amazing. I think I was going to do that anyway.
You betcha.
Based on Automotive News Almanac historical data and industry-reported sales data from 1909 through 2024 CY.
I got to see my brother get married.
I would have missed my dad's birthday.
Because I wore my seatbelt, I had the privilege of being part of his special day.
I got to go home and see my family again.
Does it click yet?
Brought to you by NDOT Highway Safety Office.
I would have never had the chance to see my daughter become a doctor.
I was able to go to my brother's graduation.
I wouldn't have adopted my first pet.
And then it clicked. My seatbelt saved my life. Does it click yet?
Brought to you by NDOT Highway Safety Office.
No matter what you're looking for, you'll find it at Woodhouse. We carry a wide selection of trusted brands across more than 20 locations, offering everything from efficient daily drivers to bold new EVs and family-ready SUVs. At Woodhouse, we put your experience first, offering expert guidance and a trusted team that's guaranteed to help you find the right vehicle. Visit a location near you or start shopping online at woodhouse.com. More ways to drive, more reasons to trust. This is Woodhouse.
The Huskers Radio Network Broadcast Center is sponsored by Akrs, the Midwest premier John Deere dealer, supplying the equipment and service to advance agriculture and much more. Akrs, solutions for every field. Welcome back to Sports Nightly. I'm Jessica Coody, and certainly the wide receiver room has been a hot topic, even going back to the spring. Just the amount of talent that has been brought in, plus coming back, and one of those returners that was pretty electric last year was Jakori Barney as a true freshman. He set the season record for receptions by a true freshman with 55, but was utilized in a bunch of different ways by this offense, which I think we'll continue to see. But was just a true freshman last year, which was crazy. And so looking to build off of that and take the next step, and has a lot of confidence in himself and is one of the best practicers. We've heard Coach Roll talk about that, just how much he loves to practice. There's so much joy out there on the field. He's such a good teammate. He supports his players. We've heard the story about John Hull and how Jakori Barney was a big part in John getting things kind of going last year and building up his confidence because of what Jacory did in practice. So I had a chance last week to get a chance to chat with Jacory and just talk all things fall camp and his goals going into this season. But you'll remember going back to last spring in the Husker games, he had basically guaranteed to me that he was going to win the fastest man competition. So that's where we start. Okay, well, the last time we talked to you right here in the spring, you were basically guaranteeing a victory in the fastest man competition at the Husker games. How does it feel that you delivered on that guarantee to Husker Nation?
I'm happy for it. I feel like I withhold what I said, and I'm a man of my word, so you got what you got, and now I'm finna go lead the country in punt returns, and we finna have a great year as a Husker. So you believe my word last time, so believe it this time. That's all I can say.
Oh, I love it. I love it. Well, how has practice gone so far for you guys?
It's going amazing so far. I feel like our team, we have a great team. We have a great unit. We just trying to come together every day and just get better.
How do you feel different? This time a year ago, you were going at this for the first time. How do you feel different as a player going into this fall camp?
Just going into this fall camp, just knowing that I've worked on me as a player, just knowing that I've worked on what I needed to work on. So that makes me that much better going into this season, and just giving me more opportunities and more room for improvement and more room for more production this upcoming season.
What were some of the things that you worked on to be better at this year?
Like second level releases, maintaining the distance so that they can't get their hands on me, sticking my routes, and creating separation that way. Just being more defiant in that, so yeah.
Yeah, that's great. And learning Coach Holgerson and what you can do in this offense, how much more, I know you were already familiar with him, but how much more excited are you about what this offense could potentially do with Coach Holgerson?
I just feel like we're about to become an explosive offense in the pass game, run game with Emmett Johnson, Isaiah Mosley, all those guys. I feel like we're going to become an explosive offense, and like his background with those guys he had, I feel like we got weapons now, and with those weapons, we're going to do some amazing things this season, so I believe in it.
How has the wide receiver room come together with so many guys that can contribute and make an impact with this offense?
I feel like all of us, we have our game, the way we play, and all of us, like, being on the field at the same time, whoever's out there, we know that one standard is the standard. And I know that we all going to, like me, I'm going to bring the energy. I'm going to make plays, and we're going to turn up. And I believe in those guys that's to the right and to the left of me. I believe in them like they my brothers, like they came from where I came from. You know what I'm saying? So when we out there, we just know that we got to know that we better than the defensive backs we're going against. And yeah, we just go out there with the mindset that the ball is ours when it's in the air. Just out there to make plays, for real.
The last time I talked to Malcolm Hartsock, he mentioned you and how much he likes going up against you in practice. Can you give us your perspective of matching up with Malcolm and just how much you guys push each other in practice?
I love going up against Malcolm, man. The type of guy he is. He's not one of the talkers. You know what I'm saying? He don't really talk that much. He just go out there and play football. And I really like that, and I like that he competes with me every day. We line up. We know that they can go either way because we're both great players. But when we out there, we giving each other the work because I know that he's a great DB, and if I can beat him in all this and all those routes that we do in practice, and I could learn how to just beat him efficiently, I know that I'll be able to beat any DB in the country because he's one of the best out there.
I love that. Yes, who is the best trash talker on the defensive side of the ball?
Trash talker, the best. The most talkative, I would say, is probably Derek Branch. He talks a lot. He talks a lot, bro. But once one of them go, all of them going. So it's like all right, just line it up. You know what I'm saying? Like,
hey, your infectious energy and your positivity, where does that come from? Can you bottle it up and sell it? Because the way that you approach every single day, I think a lot of people could learn from. And I know that it's been talked about your energy that you bring to practice, but where does that come from? Why are you wired that way?
I don't know how to explain it. I'll just say my love for the game and the happiness I get while being out here on the field. Just being out here, being able to play the sport I love. And I know that this sport can just bring me so much. And I just love the process. I love everything. I'm bought into everything about it. And yeah, that's pretty much like I just let God's light shine through me each and every day.
It does. Okay, so I have to ask you about this epic volleyball match that took place that you guys were taking on volleyball. First of all, how would you describe Quinn Clark as a volleyball player?
Bro, that guy is, bro, he's amazing. Like he's a great volleyball player though. Like he shocked me. I suck. Like we were there, we were playing. I didn't even know, like, I don't know how to strike or do any of that stuff. I was just back there kind of just for the vibes, you know what I'm saying? But it was fun. You know, it was fun to do it. It's definitely an experience. Yeah, we got Quinn Clark is amazing. We got some great guys that know how to play volleyball, like Jeremiah Charles. He was good too. I guess Laney probably taught him some stuff, but yeah.
What kind of appreciation do you have for the volleyball players and how good they are at what they do?
Just knowing that they're so good at what they're doing. They're great people off the court or whatever. Off the court, they're great, like humans. You know, it's always cool being around them, being around greatness, them being around us. You know, we just feed off each other. At the end of the day, we all just want to bring winning to the school, to the program. So I'm happy for them. And yeah, we're going to start winning this season, and it's going to be good.
That's awesome. Last thing I got for you, just what does this offense need to accomplish here? What's the steps for you to be the offense you want to be here throughout fall camp?
Just working on the things we need to work on, buying in, attention to detail, and what we do, scoring when we need it to, like becoming one of those offenses that's most certainly going to get this, and like the statistical things, the percentages we need to hit in the red zone, stuff like that, our yards per play and stuff like that, just being ranked amongst the best of the best and being one of those top offenses in the country.
Great stuff. Always love chatting with you, Jacory.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Just always love chatting with him. I was able to do a Cornhusker conversation with him last year and really get to know him. And just, man, that's who he is. It's genuine. It's not a show. That is absolutely who he is. And it's just, he lights up the room. People are drawn to him. And we've even seen lots of different coverage from the different media outlets across the state, just what Jacory's done in the community. And he loves it. He loves, being a positive role model. And we saw it again on Fan Day. I mean, the kids just love talking with him when we were doing that fan piece that we aired earlier in the show. It was funny because, when we first got going, it was a lot of Emmett's, a lot of Dylan's, and a lot of Jacory's. He's already got a pretty big following, and I think it's going to continue to grow. And hopefully, I think there's going to be a number of wide receivers that Dana Holgerson utilizes. And I think Dane Key, once he gets healthy, will be I think a lot of people expect him to probably be the number one guy, but I think it's going to be a battle between those guys. But it's with as much talent and people battling for opportunities and who's getting the ball. They're very supportive of each other. As you just heard Jacory talking about it, they know that it's going to take more than one of them to really be the offense that they really want. And so I think that's what's cool about it too, that as much as you want the ball, you also know that it takes more than just you, and Jacory is an example of that. All right, we got to get to a break, but we're back to wrap up the show next.
At Woodhouse, we're with you every step of the way. With more than 20 locations and brands, you'll find options that fit your lifestyle. Whether you're looking for your first car, your next SUV, or something built to tow and haul, enjoy straightforward pricing, helpful guidance, and a dealer experience built around you. Visit one of our convenient locations today or explore your options online at woodhouse.com. Serving our customers for 50 years, this is Woodhouse.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Nebraskans are choosing chiropractic for better health. Why chiropractic? Because it's safe, drug-free, and a cost-effective treatment option for back and joint pain. Plus, all generations can benefit from natural chiropractic care. Choose chiropractic first for pain relief or to improve your mobility, athletic performance, or overall wellness. Make chiropractic your first choice for better health and find a chiropractic physician near you at nebraskachiropractic.org. Get your life back with chiropractic.
You expect your home to protect everything you love, but you don't expect the ways water is breaking down your basement and damaging your home. Mold, cracks, and of course visible water are just a few signs your basement is compromised. But there's one way to get answers to all your concerns. A free home inspection from Groundworks. We put water back in its place. Get your free inspection at groundworks.com. License number C142293.
And welcome back. Final segment here of Sports Nightly. I'm Jessica Coody. Just got a few minutes left here tonight. This is game week, match week for Husker Volleyball. They have their red-white scrimmage coming up on Saturday, and so excited about that. They will have an availability. I know Danny Busman Kelly will have a press conference, and maybe some players will meet with the media on Wednesday. We'll hopefully be able to bring you some of that as they lead up to the red-white scrimmage. We will also have it for you right here on the Huskers Radio Network. John Baylor, Lauren Cook-West back in action for you here on Saturday for the 2:30 match, but we will have a pregame show for you as well. But the fall season gets started tomorrow with Huskers soccer exhibition contest, but still the first game, I guess, being played by a team coming up tomorrow. And the Huskers at South Dakota State in that exhibition contest. And then they'll play another exhibition game, first one at home and first time at home, coming up on Friday night inside Hibner Stadium. So 7 o'clock there, or 6 o'clock there for Husker soccer as they are opening up their season. And I got a chance to chat with Reagan Robbie, who is a senior, one of the leaders for this team. What a just incredible conversation. Love getting to chat with her, Omaha kid. So she's going to help us preview the season. We're going to hear from her tomorrow and here on the show. And we also have another availability. So coming up tomorrow after practice, we'll hear more from Husker football. Scheduled tomorrow is John Butler back on the mic, defensive coordinator, but we'll also hear from Addison Williams, the defensive backs coach, so and some players as well. So we'll get a chance to bring you some more of those conversations. But it's been fun getting to chat with these guys. Really quite a bit of availability, but as we continue to get closer and closer, 3 weeks out from this Thursday. So I assume that tomorrow will be a defensive type of day. So maybe a couple of the defensive backs will be made available. We'll be able to chat with and bring you here on Sports Nightly. So that's going to do it for me here tonight. I appreciate Josh and everyone else for helping making this go, Nick and Kyle. And yeah, we'll have a full 2 hours coming up for you tomorrow, hearing from Reagan Robbie, Husker soccer and Husker football availability, press conferences, and player conversations. So we'll have a great night, and we'll talk to you tomorrow night here on Sports Nightly.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
No matter what you're looking for, you'll find it at Woodhouse. We carry a wide selection of trusted brands across more than 20 locations, offering everything from efficient daily drivers to bold new EVs and family-ready SUVs. At Woodhouse, we put your experience first, offering expert guidance and a trusted team that's guaranteed to help you find the right vehicle. Visit a location near you or start shopping online at woodhouse.com. More ways to drive, more reasons to trust. This is Woodhouse.
Did you get us switched over to shelter insurance?
Actually, I found a deal online.
You did. Does your deal come with award-winning customer service?
Oh, I'm not sure.
Does the deal include a local agent?
Doesn't actually say.
Can we create a customized plan that fits our needs? Let's just call the local shelter agent.
For insurance that fits just right, find a shelter agent near you.
See shelter agent Dory Milberger or Darren Frazier in Omaha or agent Terry Dingwell in Fremont.
It's the summer sales event with the Ford Groom.
Sam, 30 seconds on the clock. The Ford Summer Sales Event.
Great time to buy.
Correct. What do we have amazing deals on this summer?
Ford trucks and SUVs.
Is Ford America's all-time best-selling auto brand?
Let me think. Yeah, it is.
3 for 3.
What do I win?
You get to work at the Ford Summer Sales Event.
Amazing. I think I was going to do that anyway.
You betcha.
Based on Automotive News Almanac historical data and industry-reported sales data from 1909 through 2024 CY.
You expect your home to protect everything you love, but you don't expect that water is the reason parts of your concrete have gotten so uneven. Walkway tripping hazards, sinking pool deck, cracked driveways are dangerous threats to everyone's safety. But there's one way to learn how your concrete can be lifted. A free home inspection from Groundworks. We put water back in its place. Get your free inspection at groundworks.com. License number C142.